So to create our calendar today, I'm going to be using our pre-printed calendar pages. I'm going to be using the half-page calendars, which features an A2 panel with a mini calendar printed on the bottom and a large open space at the top to allow for whatever embellishment you'd like to put on your calendar pages. We are also going to be releasing a full page calendar. These are also A2 sized, but the calendar basically fills the entire panel. So this would be more like if you wanted to create a full-size calendar, you could put, you have the whole other space. It would be like a double hanging calendar, that type of thing. But for today's calendar in this video, I'm going to be using the half-page mini calendar. So I want to create an arched frame for my calendar pages. And so in order to do that, I'm going to pull out my A2 Arches die, and I'm also going to be using the new spiral bound die. This die can be purely decorative, so perfect for cards, but it can also be functional. So there is a die in here for cutting just the little notch at the top and the holes, and that can be combined with these spiral coils that we're releasing. We'll have two sizes of these. There's a smaller, which is perfect for kind of a more of a simple, basic 12-page calendar with front and back cover. And then we're also releasing a slightly larger size, which is great for like a project with more pages. If you're doing a double page calendar or more heavily embellished pages, that'll just give you a little more room for those thicker projects. So like I said, I want to create this arched frame for each of my calendar pages. So that's quite a bit of die cutting. So I want to share a tip for you that will make this a little bit faster, a little bit easier. So I'm going to actually make myself kind of a little jig. A jig is like a template, and all you need for this is an A2 size die. Doesn't matter what die you choose, it just needs to be an A2 size because you're not going to actually use the die cut. We're going to set that aside. We're actually going to use the negative. So I am using the filigree frame die here, but you can use any A2 size die from your collection. Okay, so this is what we're creating. It's basically two die cuts. It's the little edge at the top with the holes and then also the arch. But we're going to set this up so that we can do this all at one time. So I'm going to take this die from the spiral bound set. It cuts the little top edge and also the holes. I'm going to position this in my template. This blue kind of turquoise piece is my template. So I'm going to set that die right in there so that that top edge, that little die cut edge along the top, is actually just kind of butted right up against this top edge of my template, and then make sure it's centered side to side. And I'm going to secure that in place with a little bit of washi tape. You'll kind of feel the edge of the cardstock butt up against that blade. I can flip it around and show you from the back side here as well. You'll kind of see that's right up against that edge. We're not actually going to cut this straight edge. We're going to use that as our guide. The next thing I'm going to position is an arch die. This is from our A2 Arches set. It's the second to the largest arch from the set. And I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to center it side to side in my die cut opening, and I'm going to butt that bottom edge, that straight bottom edge, up along the edge of my template. Making sure that's straight side to side. And I'll put a couple pieces of tape to make sure that it doesn't shift around. Then I'm also going to put a couple of pieces of tape along the side, each side. That kind of helps to hold my cardstock in place as I put each cardstock panel in here to be die cut. All right, so there is basically my jig. So now I have a whole bunch of A2 panels cut from cardstock. This is a pretty blush cardstock, and I'm just gonna go ahead and drop these panels into this A2 opening. This little bit of tape on each side is gonna help to hold that in place. And then I'll go ahead and just run it through my die cut machine, and I can leave my dies in my template here and just swap out that A2 panel that I'm die cutting. So there we have a piece that's perfectly die cut, and I can pull out this negative arch And go ahead and then just repeat this with each of my panels until I have all of my frames cut for all 12. And then I'm also going to do the cover of my calendar as well. So I repeated that process until my whole stack of 12 plus 1 for the cover panels of cardstock were cut with the arch and the little holes at the top. Now I'm going to stack them all up, and to make kind of quick work of popping out all of the little holes, I will stack them up and take a paper piercing tool and just go ahead and pop out all of those holes. The whole stack is a little bit much, so I might break that down into a couple of stacks and just pop out all those holes. So now I'm going to go ahead and layer all of these die cut arches over the top of my calendar panels. But in order to avoid having to also die cut the holes in the calendar pieces, I'm actually going to go ahead and take a paper trimmer and I'm going to trim about a 1/4 inch off of the top of each of these calendar pages. So you can see I already have that done for all of my months except for December, and you can see here I trimmed off just about a 1/4 inch off the top, and that way I can layer my arch die cut pieces over the top, line up these bottom edges, and then I can just bind everything through this single layer, and this sits just below. And also then I have a nice back. I haven't run this piece through my die cut machine, so I don't get that kind of ugly, wrinkly backing that you can get when you run something through a die cut machine. That stays nice and crisp and fresh. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of these arched pieces to the calendar pages. I should note that for the cover page, I'm actually going to do the opposite, and instead of trimming off of the top edge, I'm going to trim off the bottom edge. You can see here if I layer my arch over top of my cover panel, it covers up the top edge of my 2025 design. So I'm going to shift this up, and instead of trimming off of the top, I'm going to go ahead and trim off of the bottom so that this displays nicely inside my arch. So there we have all of our pretty arches added to our calendar pages, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on adding some florals. So to add the florals to each page, I'm going to be using our Birth Month Bloom cuttables. These are the pre-printed versions of our Birth Month Bloom series. All of these florals are also available as stamp sets, so there's and they coordinate with the Birth Month Bloom dies. And so we have Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So I'm going to be using these pre-printed pages, and I'll be die cutting them with the coordinating dies. As you can see, there are outlines on the printed pages, which you can drop the die right into, and it makes for super easy, perfect cuts every time. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut all of these, and then I'll add them to the calendar pages. So I have those all die cut and laid out January through December, and I'm going to go ahead and just add those to my calendar pages. So I have all the florals adhered to my calendar pages, and now I'm actually also going to go ahead and take the Birth Month Bloom stamp sets, and I'm going to stamp some of the flower names and their meanings and that sort of thing, just kind of fill in some of the little areas with some of those little stamped words. And to do this, I'm just using kind of a neutral craft colored ink. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that same thing on all the rest of the pages. So there you can go. I can see I have all of those little word details from the matching stamp sets all stamped onto those pages. Just adds a fun little like vintage kind of, not kind of a nod towards like a vintage botanical print type of touch. So it's just a fun little addition, which you can do or not do. It's totally up to you. So now we're going to go ahead and put our calendar all together with one of the little spiral bindings. I also wanted to create a stand for my calendar. And so I took 2 pieces of cardstock that I cut the top with the spiral bound die, and then I have some measurements here for you. The 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is the size of our calendar pages, and then I added an inch below a score line and then another 1/4 inch, and this 1/4 inch piece is where I'm going to adhere both of these together. So these are exactly the same size based on those measurements I just showed you, and I am going to adhere them together at the top along this die cut edge and also along that 1/4 inch fold line. So to adhere the bottom edges on the scored line, I'm going to use just some score tape, double-sided tape, and then along the top edge, I will probably just use some liquid adhesive so that I don't get any adhesive on the whole portion. So I'm just looking for the best way to get this all lined up. So we're going to do front side to front side so that your back sides are hidden inside. And we're going to adhere the top edge together. There you can see how we've created just a little stand. Super easy to do and just requires some strips of cardstock and some score lines and then that little die cut edge. Okay, so now we're going to put it all together with some of these binding coils. I'm going to be using the larger size because I have my die cut pages over my die cut little archway over the top of my pages, so it's a little bit bulkier. I used 100-pound cardstock, so it's pretty bulky. So I'm going to be using the larger size spiral binding. So we're going to need to trim just 2 pieces of that. And I'm going to count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes on each side. I'm going to trim this so that I have got an additional couple spirals or 2. So you can go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm just going to add a couple more so that I have a little leeway. I can trim those as I want. So these coils are made from plastic, and so you can very easily just snip them to size with the scissors. Okay, so I'm going to cut 2 of those that same size. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and bind these all together. I have all of my pages, make sure that they're all in order, and also my backing. Stack those all up. And then you can go ahead and just start the spiral on one end. Make sure you're got through all of the holes and then just spin it into place. And a little bit tricky sometimes to kind of get it started, but once you get started, you should be able to just go ahead and spin it. Okay, so I'm going to kind of get that into place where I want it. And then I'll trim off the excess once we kind of have everything in place. So I'm going to do the second one as well and start that on the inside and spin that through the rest of the holes. Okay, and I'm just going to trim off the excess. I'm going to trim this so that it lays on the back side. It might be a little bit generous so that we can kind of do some adjustments and I can trim a little more if needed, but I'm going to start there and kind of see how that ends up. Okay, same thing on this side. All right, and there you go. Just have a kind of a cute little spiral binding. And all of the calendar pages are bound together. I will address one little drawback to this type of spiral binding. The nice part about this is that you don't need any special tools to cinch. Like some of the coils require like a cinching machine. These spirals do not, but the one drawback is when you flip your pages to the other side, everything is a little bit offset. So it's offset basically by 1 coil width. And you can kind of fuss with this. I might actually trim, I've got an extra coil here, so I'm going to trim this one down. Just kind of mess around with it and that's why you want to start with a little excess, and then you might need to kind of trim that down so that your pages flip open properly, like that. Okay, so there is our finished calendar. So much fun to put together. Kind of a quick and a little bit easier project if you're using the pre-printed florals. Stamping them would definitely be a time investment, but I love stamping, so that's not a problem for me. But it's super fun to put together, and you could get creative. If you don't want to do a floral calendar, you can of course use all kinds of other images as well, or you can use the full page calendars, which would be more of a kind of just a basic calendar. Lots of fun ideas. The team has some really fun ideas for different ways to use these products as well. So this new collection called These Are the Days will be available in the shop beginning on Tuesday, July 30 at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. We'll see you soon.